Hello, I'm David Sables, and this is the Sell and Negotiate podcast. I have mentioned before that selling and negotiation are completely discrete skills, and that it's important that you know when you're selling and when you're negotiating, even though that might be oscillating during a 5-minute period in the same meeting. So the important thing is to know also whether the other party opposite you is negotiating with you or just simply listening to your sell. Now, today I want to talk a little bit more about selling rather than negotiating, and so we'll get on to some of the basic things that we need to get right about that. But I do want to make a point that whether it's selling or negotiation, whether it's just facing up to a customer and meeting them, there's a whole thing that you need to be aware of, which is about the style with which you do it. And some people want to be known for having a particular style. They want to be known as, let's say, a tough negotiator. Or let's just say they want to be known for being a sympathetic salesperson. In fact, actually, that's quite common, and that often leads to a bit of an imbalance between the seller and the negotiator, which means that the buyer very often wins out in terms of the value. There's no one set style which is right or wrong, and this is one of the things that we need to get right when we're preparing and going forward into any meeting. And in fact, it's very, very important to make sure you can show the flexibility to approach a different situation with a different style. Otherwise, of course, there is a possibility that you can be too tough for somebody who's looking for something sympathetic, or vice versa. You can be sympathetic and listening, and in actual fact, you're just testing the patience of somebody who doesn't have the time for it. So I prefer to look at the whole area and think of it as being a situational topic based upon a few different factors. You will approach either with a tough stance or with a sympathetic and more empathetic stance, and you'll do that based upon what you know about the customer and what you know about the situation that the customer's in. So there's a few things that you need to know to think about this up front. You need to actually decide what type of customer this is. So if this is a customer that you intend to build a long-term rapport with, so is this somebody that you need to see again and again and again? That's quite often the case in a business scenario. Why wouldn't a customer be somebody that you want to see again and again and again? But it does depend, I suppose, on the product that you're supplying them. If you think about the contrast between the approach that you would use if you're handling a customer that you need to see once every 2 weeks for the next 3 years, or that you have a monthly meeting about a contract that you've just taken with them, that means that it matters what they think of you, and it matters onwards into the future. They need to believe in you and trust you. In fact, there are other customers or suppliers that potentially you don't need to have that approach with. The situation might be that you're exiting from an office and that you're just negotiating the final stages of the dilapidations amount that you have to pay. In that situation, it's hugely likely that you're never going to see the person again. You don't even need to worry, therefore, about what they think of you and that trust aspect. All you need to worry about is making sure you do the best to get the best result financially for your business. Now, all of this is relevant, obviously, in real life as well. And if you were to think about a couple of examples in real life, you'd be talking about the difference between, in home life, domestic life. If you're employing a gardener and needing to get a deal sorted out with the gardener, you'd be trying to persuade that gardener that this is a job that they want to take and that you're a nice person to work for. You'd also be trying to ensure with them that you're going to pay them fairly, and this would be the long-term trust-based rapport that you're trying to establish. If, on the other hand, you're buying a car or a double glazing, for example. These are one-off trades, and in that situation you'd concentrate purely on the value of the amount of money that you're exchanging. So that's actually very, very important. In all situations, regardless of that, there is also something else about the situation that you need to understand right from the outset, which is, does that party have another alternative to your solution? If they have another alternative, then that dictates how tough you can be, how ambitious you can be, and the approach that you need to take. So it's always worth knowing whether they have another alternative. And in fact, even if you don't have an alternative is to win through in that deal, it's best to make sure that you give the impression, at least, that you do. That will enable you to cast some doubt in the mind of the other person, so as to make sure that you keep them honest, if you like, that they know that they can't push it too far, otherwise they'll lose you. So a couple of things there about just understanding the situation and understanding the customer.